Most people struggle with the difference between that and which, because the real rule isn't about preference, it's about whether the information you're adding is essential or non-essential. Once you understand that distinction, the choice becomes automatic. In standard American English, that introduces what we call a restrictive or essential clause. This kind of clause identifies the noun. Without it, the listener won't know which specific person or thing you're talking about. On the other hand, which introduces a non-restrictive or non-essential clause. This kind of clause adds extra information about a noun that is already known or already specific enough. And in this structure, which must be set off with commas. Here's the core question you ask yourself. Does the clause identify the noun, or does it merely describe it? Let's start with the most useful example. Consider the sentence, "The book that helped me pass the exam is out of print." The clause, "that helped me pass the exam," tells you exactly which book is out of print. Without it, the sentence becomes, "The book is out of print." And at that point, the listener has no idea which book you're referring to. The identifying information is essential, so the correct word is that. Now compare it with the non-essential version. "The book which helped me pass the exam is out of print." This version assumes the identity of the book is already known before the sentence is spoken. The clause, "which helped me pass the exam," is not identifying anything. It is commenting on a book the listener already recognizes. If the listener does not already know which book is being discussed, then this which version doesn't make sense. Which can describe something, but it cannot identify something. Let's continue with more examples to show how meaning shifts. Take the sentence, "The emails that contain errors have been flagged." Here, only certain emails contain errors. The clause, "that contain errors," defines the group. Without it, the listener wouldn't know which emails were flagged. Now compare it with, "The emails which contain errors have been flagged." This version implies that all of the emails contain errors, and the clause is simply commenting on them. Another example, "Employees that finish the training can access the system." The clause, "that finish the training," identifies the group of employees who qualify. If you say employees which finish the training can access the system, you've changed the meaning. This sentence implies that every employee finishes the training, and the clause is merely an aside. That's why choosing the right word matters. Here's another clear pair. "The project that launched last quarter is ahead of schedule." The clause identifies the project, "remove it," and the listener won't know which project you're talking about. By contrast, "the project which launched last quarter is ahead of schedule" assumes the listener already knows the project before the sentence begins. The launch date becomes additional information, not identifying information. One more example. "The software that processes payments must be updated." The clause, "that processes payments," tells the listener exactly which software needs to be updated. Without it, the sentence becomes vague. On the other hand, "the software which processes payments must be updated" is only logical if the listener already knows which software is being discussed, and the clause is only providing a comment about what the software does. Across all of these examples, the pattern is consistent. That answers the question, "which one?" while which answers the question, "what about it?" That restricts the noun to a specific subset, while which adds a detail about something already known. This distinction becomes especially important in business writing, legal writing, academic writing, and technical writing, any context where precision matters. These fields rely on the difference between identifying information and supplementary information. Using that and which correctly signals that difference clearly and reliably. The rule is simple once you internalize it. If the clause is necessary to identify the noun, use that. If the clause simply provides extra information, use which, and set it off with commas. When you remove the clause, the sentence should help you see the truth immediately. If removing the clause makes the sentence unclear, it was essential and you needed that. If the sentence still works, it was non-essential and you needed which. Used correctly, that and which are precision tools. They prevent ambiguity, guide the reader, and make your writing clearer and more professional. Follow me to never confuse such words again.